The words we use, substantive or statutory? January 18, 2020 by Anna von Reitz. Never, ever forget that law comes from religion and religion comes from man's perception of God, either the true God, or the false God of our own making. All this while, you've been living in two worlds and never even known it. The world of flesh and the world of thought. The true God, independent of man, created the world of flesh and rock and water and air and fire. This world has substance. It's factual. It runs according to natural laws. You can hold it in your hand. So it should come as no surprise that the law of the actual, factual world is called substantive law or the law of substance. You, as a living being robed in flesh, are owed substantive law, but, instead, you have been impersonated as a corporation, and subjected to foreign statutory law by a process of unlawful conversion. Most people know that impersonation is a crime, and both the word unlawful and conversion should give us pause. We most often hear about a religious conversion, in which someone undergoes a change of religion, and if you change your religion, you change the law you are standing under. A Jew who converts to Islam no longer stands under the law of Moses. He stands under Sharia law instead. And a man who converts from his lawful existence as a man and who operates as a corporation named after himself instead, undergoes the same kind of change. Such a man no longer stands under the substantive law of God. He instead subjects himself to the statutory law created by men acting as legislatures. Therein lies the entire difference between what is lawful and what is legal, what is substantive and what is statutory. As a convenience and as a profit-making mechanism for themselves, the Queen and the Pope and the corporations chartered under their auspices, have contrived to impersonate you and to subject this unlawfully converted thing operated under your name to statutory law, all without your knowing and fully disclosed consent. These are crimes of state forbidden by both the Geneva Conventions and the Hague Conventions, and these perpetrators are well aware and fearful of what they have done. Despite this, they, and their employees, are dragging their feet about making correction, and trying to abuse bankruptcy as means of offloading their own odious debts upon innocent people. No amount of flannel-mouthed British charm can make up for the fact that hundreds of millions of bogus franchises of the British Crown and the Roman municipal government need to be liquidated and the unencumbered assets returned to the lawful owners, the United States of America and the individual states and people, and all the other countries and people that have been victimized. We have asked for complete lawful conversion and reconveyance of our good names and estates, and offered them the chance to make good on their mutual offset credit exchange exemption remedy. To date, they are still trying to get a fraudulent war started on our shores, despite the fact that we have forbidden our subcontractors to do any such thing, and despite the fact that the Pope controls both sides of any such conflict. We feel that continued obstruction of remedy long owed and overdue, and continued efforts to provoke unnecessary conflict, and failure to heal the grotesque breach of trust involved, are all indicative of bad faith by the governments of the Queen, the Lord Mayor of London, the Pope, and the municipal government of Rome. All these offices and institutions deserve to be exposed for their corruption and the crimes that they have committed against America and most other nations of the earth. Their embezzlement of our substance via means of fraud and words of art is well recognized and documented now. The exact mechanisms employed to unlawfully seize upon and mischaracterize American babies have also been mapped out in detail. There should be no further excuse or question that these actions are grossly improper, both unlawful and illegal, and have been used to evade the requirements of the constitutional agreements existing between the government of the United States of America and these foreign service providers. The same perpetrators have caused a similar fraud scheme to be unleashed on a worldwide basis, and used it to bring false claims in commerce against whole countries. On behalf of our country, the United States of America, we have taken action to declare our correct political status and our standing under the substantive law, not the statutory law. Instead of working with us to heal their misadministration of our public servants, the Queen, the Pope, and the Lord Mayor, have continued to wheedle and delay and obstruct, 1. A proper accounting and 2. Discharge of odious debts and 3. Agreeable conciliatory efforts to return purloined credit to those are actually owed the credit, the living men and women, not the corporations. Let our voices be raised and let them span the oceans. Let all our words be succinct and to the point. We are men and women, not human beings. We are many sovereign nations, not service corporations. We are free, not at liberty. We have been purchased at great price, and nothing and nobody stands between us and the divine. Let those who would pretend to reduce us to the level of things come forward before the court of heaven and contest their claims.